Hello. Since my last video, I decided I kind of wanted to talk about. Plus, I'm using it as a form of therapy. Yeah. So, especially since everybody's doing all this talk on protecting black women, which I really feel is a whole piece of bullshit. Excuse my language, but I'm passionate sometimes. With all of this kind of like COVID mess kind of like going on, and working on my mental wellness and having to make sure I stay grounded in that, and as being a black woman that they call here in America, being since going and being laid off and kind of being happy because the line of job that I had, I worked with kind of with money, and it's on a economic level. So I those are like watching history, and I'm into Great Depressions and seeing how things kind of play out, if you understand the gist of what I'm saying. But kind of knowing that it was bound to kind of go and happen. Because I've been wanting to homeschool my daughter, 2, wanting to start my own business, 3, just never had the time. So now I have the time, so I'm happy. So in the process of trying to do that and figuring out how to kind of function and to do everything, and seeing how you can use social media, I decided to go and start me a business, but also with working on myself. They call that spiritual work, or working on your shadows in the spiritual community, in the simple terms of it. It's mostly working on you and going and doing the inner work. And if you understand chakras, then you kind of understand that. Me working on my mental health and having to work with depression and PTSD, I understand that, and that comes in many different forms. So I'm going to use my journey and use this to express myself in the form as an outlet for me when I need to get away, and to use it as an outlet for me to create for my business, because it's very overwhelming, and I'm an emotional person, and I'm a Cancer, and as being a woman, we are emotional people. So I'm just been taking all this in, and especially adjusting to homeschool and my daughter in being in high school. Once again, they're talking about helping and seeing Black Lives Matter and protecting the black woman. Wow, I will tell you, everyone has many different forms of their walks of life, and when you live your life and you don't know what triggers you have of mental illness, let it be PTSD, anxiety, post just different forms of it that are not diagnosed, you repeat cycles. So me knowing mine and being a black woman, I always felt like I had a dink in my shield, where it was more so, ooh, you really are crazy. So in the midst of, I don't know, of my last video that I did, I have to do this one because I'm like, in this journey, I need to express this, because I don't know, I have to do another one on with dealing with family while being black, that I don't see nobody talking about while in the midst of YouTube and in this spiritual community. No one's really talking about in layman terms as far as when you have to deal with your family. And yeah, you do have to go and let your family go on those roads, but they are your family. I was watching on a spiritual, I think what the channel was called, but it was Miss Blue, and there was a lady talking about how she can't deal with her mom. And the lady just basically told her at the end of the day, she gave you life. And if you can't go and deal with her, you should get up and leave her house. But the fact that you won't says it's not that bad and you're complaining. And I guess how she reached out to get the lady's attention, she put it out on social media for the whole entire world to see. And no matter how sad or how upset you get with your mom or your parents or your family, they're still your family. And if everybody's supporting Black Lives Matter, then they should really understand we really have post-traumatic stress disorder and nobody's addressing it. Everybody's going around talking about bitches and hoes and embracing that shit. But really, somebody going to say that shit out of term and that shit really going to hurt your fucking feelings. That shit hit different. But I don't know, because I just don't tolerate that. So I keep to myself. Once again, why I need to use this as an outlet first for me while I'm creating and staying to myself and going on my little journey and creating my piece of business that I'm happy to do, and working on fixing family mends and maybe creating things together, and also mending family ties and hopefully inspiring and mending things. So I'm going to end that there. Something short and sweet. But I don't know. I might title this Black Woman Mental Spiritual. Have a good afternoon.